Hey there, kiddos, and welcome back to the channel. I'm Uncle Frank, hoping that you are having a great day, and in today's video, I'm going to be sitting back in my deliciously squeaky chair, relaxing and having a little conversation with all of you guys about some of the smaller TCGs out there on the market, the indie card games, as some would say, the little guys. Because from time to time, I do think it's important to check in on these smaller corners of the TCG ecosystem, see how they're doing, check if they've grown at all, boomed perhaps, and overall just remind you guys that they still exist. So, with all of that said, I have a small list here of a few different card games. I want to go over where they're at currently, how I think they're doing, and when applicable, how I think things might turn out for them in the future. So, with all that said, let's get started with the one I still consistently get a lot of requests to follow up on and cover more on the channel, and that is the Sorcery TCG, which overall I'll say is doing pretty well. It does look like this is still a card game with a lot of excitement behind it, a lot of momentum behind it, as people still seem to be interested both in it as a game and as a collectible. And to that end, I just see a lot to that end. To that end, I see a lot of positivity about this card game, a lot of people who are always excited to talk about playing it, what kind of decks they're building, etc. You see all kinds of videos out there on YouTube, for instance, of deck techs and such like that. But also on the secondary market side of things, overall, it looks pretty good. The most recent full set Gothic is at $200 a box right now, which is overall a very impressive climb for that set. It had quite the bowl-shaped dip for a while there. Now, it's not all sunshine and rainbows. It's not all perfect. Arthurian Legends, for instance, is around $110, $120 a box. So it's not like every sorcery box, every set is skyrocketing and going to the moon. But the fact that people are buying a lot of the newest set means that it was perhaps just a one-off thing for Arthurian Legends, and the game itself still has a lot of nice demand behind it. As for where it's going, well, hard to say. It's always hard to say with a game that only has so many releases per year. There is an upcoming set, I believe it's in November, the Frostmage versus Lavamancer dual decks. It is a contained set with a lot of excitement behind it. Some worry too because people are concerned that it might turn out similar to the Dragon Lord box from not that long ago. And that I think is a valid concern. The Dragon Lord box, I think, I still have one up there. The Dragon Lord box turned out to be an explosive product. Right now, I think boxes are about $500, which just goes to show that your uncle can be extremely wrong, because I'm pretty sure it's in one of the older sorcery videos I mentioned, but I was dead sure. I was sure there was going to be something like a reprint or a restock for that to make it more available to players and collectors and all that jazz. So I was dead wrong on that, because yeah, it is currently, like, I think the most expensive post-initial release product for the game. So that's wild. Overall, I foresee a lot of excitement and activity for this game in the future, just because its current player base is so fervorish and so interested in getting both more players into the game and just experiencing it to its fullest. So there's that. Moving on quickly, I just want to mention two TCG Kickstarters. The iconic TCG Kickstarter is live as of the recording of this video. This is their second attempt at a Kickstarter. The first one from last year did not work out for them. Unfortunate, but it does look like the round 2 Electric Boogaloo Kickstarter is gonna turn out just fine. So check that out if you're interested. Also, the Kritas TCG Kickstarter should be going live soon-ish. I think it's the start of next month. Don't quote me on that one either. Just wanted to mention that there are, as always, more TCG Kickstarters coming on the off chance that you're interested in that kind of game. Next up, for the smaller TCGs and the Kickstarter TCGs, because I'm pretty sure this started out as a Kickstarter, Shardbugs. Shardbugs continues to grow with more people talking about it here on YouTube. You're seeing more channels bringing it up, mentioning it from time to time, and that's a good thing overall because I do think this is a genuinely fun little game. The new set is here, Terraform. I just did a box opening for it. It's a cool release with a lot of cool shiny cards, I've got to say. And this brings the fourth color into the game, the new green avatar, which is really cool. It's nice to see that mechanically a game can expand in interesting ways. I'm curious to see where the rules take it, where these mechanics take it. I have not had a chance to try out any of the new cards yet, full disclosure, but I'm sure it's going to be just as exciting as the previous games I've had with shard bugs. On the more financial side of things, it's hard to pin down for card games that are not on TCG Player. You kind of have to look to places like eBay to get a decent idea, but just looking at eBay, Shardbugs does appear to have a vibrant secondary market with both sealed products and singles, seeing quite a lot of sales overall. That's pretty cool. The big thing, of course, is that there is a definite interest in the serialized cards for Shardbugs. It looks like there are a lot of different serialized cards out there in the various sets, and there is demand for them. So there's that. The big announcement that they have is that they continue to expand as a card game, not just in terms of releases, but in terms of how they bring the game to the players. Southern Hobby has brought it on as a game that they're distributing, so there's that. That's pretty good. Good on them. And also they have an organized play system that is actually going into effect, so that's pretty cool too. Overall, of the games on this list, this is perhaps the one I am most excited about, just because I do have a lot of fun playing the game. It's got a really cool comic book concept behind it that I think is really neat, and I'm looking forward to seeing how it expands in the future. So there's that. Next up is another thing I was dead wrong about, Union Arena, which has turned itself around quite well in the last few months, if I do say so myself. I had no faith in this game. I was convinced that another Weiss Schwarz Universes style game where every set is its own different IP crossover. I was so sure that that would just not take off, but I was very wrong. And you know what? I'm happy to be wrong, because as I've said dozens of times before on this channel, more card games is always good. So, Union Arena has turned itself around pretty strongly and is turning out to be quite the little collectible, too. I have absolutely no idea how well the game side of this is doing. I'm not seeing a lot of videos on YouTube about the gaming aspect. I'm seeing people talk about the collectability, the investability, and all that jazz. I don't see a lot of people talking about gameplay or deck techs or anything like that. Maybe it's just because I'm not looking in the right channels. It is what it is. But I will say that some of these sets are doing pretty well. Inuyasha, for instance, was I think it's the first Union Arena set that I was actively keeping an eye on, just because I do like Inuyasha quite a bit. I was a big fan of it. I was super excited when the manga finally ended way back when. Didn't like the sequel that much. Gotta get that out there. But yeah, I was keeping an eye on the Inuyasha set, and it came out swinging. It's like at release it was like $200 a box. In fact, people were quite fervent over it. Now it's died down quite a bit. It's down to like the 140s range. So it has died down. It's calmed down a bit, but there's some cool, genuinely collectible cards there. There's a lot of cool sales going on there, and it does look like it's not even an isolated thing. It's not the only set that's been getting a lot of traction and a lot of attention. Yes, Inuyasha is the one that I'm keeping a track on, but there's also like the Chainsaw Man set. The Bleach sets are gaining traction. One of them is pretty pricey, in fact. One of the Evangelion sets. These all have interest in it. They all have genuine collectors buying up the boxes and removing cases, in fact, from TCG Player entirely, which is really cool. I did notice that it's not across the board. It's not every Union Arena set that is being bought up and disappearing slowly from TCG Player. Like Fullmetal Alchemist, for instance, despite being based on one of the better franchises, I think the boxes are still under $100. So it's not like Union Arena is across the board being scooped up and all skyrocketing. It's just that it does look like it's gaining genuine traction, and that's a good sign. It does mean that this game is probably going to stick around. Now, there's a lot more coming in the pipeline for Union Arena in the future, but I remain of the same opinion for it that I do of Weiss Schwarz and other similar things of, insofar as I'm concerned, it's going to be a case-by-case, set-by-set basis on how well I think it's going to do, just because different IPs will appeal to different crowds. Moving on to Shadowverse Evolved. I wrote it down here with a question mark. I didn't think I was going to talk about it or not. Shadowverse Evolved. This is perhaps the card game I know the least about. Of all the ones I've talked about today so far, Shadowverse Evolved is... I've tried it. It's definitely a game. It's got waifus. Boy howdy, does it have waifus. So the newest set dropped last month, Neo Metropolis, which I thought, when I looked at the box, I thought it was Necro Metropolis, and I was like, what the hell kind of word is that? But yeah, Neo Metropolis dropped last month. It has declined somewhat. I believe MSRP for the boxes is $45. Don't quote me on that. But right now on TCG Player and elsewhere, the boxes are around $35 to $40, which is not terrible. Mind you, Yu-Gi-Oh boxes consistently go to that range, and they have a much higher MSRP. But it's worth pointing out that there's a lot of cool stuff in Neo Metropolis from a price standpoint, a lot of high-end cards. And the sales for the singles don't look that bad either. Yes, I did mention a lot of high-end cards. Those are kind of flat, with few, if any, sales for the bigger cards. But it does look like a lot of the more playable, cheaper cards are getting pretty good sales across the board, which is promising. With, you know, if the high-end cards are all selling, but no one's buying any of the cheaper playable cards, it means that it's purely a collector's thing, which is... it's not the greatest sign, in my opinion, but it does have potential there. But if people are buying the game to play it and buying the cards to play with them, that's always a great thing, in my opinion, because games can survive forever if they have a dedicated player base. A handful of collectors does not keep a game going. Just has to be said. I'm keeping an eye on it. There's a lot of people who have asked me to talk more about Shadowverse. But for the most part, like I said, it's not for me. The gameplay did not super appeal to me. I will get more into it at some point. But for now, it doesn't look that terrible. So those are the major games I wanted to cover at the very least. There's a few other smaller TCGs that people want me to keep an eye on, people want me to mention, or that I feel like mentioning at some point, but I'm not covering them in this card game video. So I'm not going to be covering some games that people have talked about recently. I'm not covering Vibes, the little penguin TCG. I've already talked about it. My opinion on it remains unchanged. I am super disinterested in it. I'm not talking about the Power World TCG, especially since we are living in the fog of war era for it. Set 2 is not even out yet. I have no idea how well the game is going to survive the release of Set 2, where the boxes are going to go, when the reprint for Set 1 is going to come, if it comes, just so we're clear. I'm not going to talk about Star Wars Unlimited. I'm not going to talk about Cookie Run. People have been asking me to talk about Cookie Run. I have been meaning to give it a try, because I'm sure it's not terrible, but I look at it and I just go, another day, right? I'm also not going to be talking about the Cyberpunk TCG, even though it is on its way soon, just because I want to get my hands on it, get around to trying it before I discuss it any further, because I am super excited about it. I just want to actually get around to playing some more of it. So overall, those are my thoughts on some of the smaller TCGs out there, some of the more indie card games, and I'm curious to hear what you guys think about them overall. So, with that being said, let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Please like, share, subscribe, all that jazz for the channel. Help me out so I can continue to bring you guys these videos. And of course, check out all the links in the description: eBay, TCG Player, Patreon, and Discord. With that being said, thank you guys so much for watching. Talk to you next time. Ciao.